So today I was just scrolling through YouTube, and I saw this video. Now, I'm not going to quote unquote expose this guy or say that this guy was bad or anything at being a YouTuber, because he was actually pretty good. I'd say he was better than myself, and that's not saying that I'm good. It's just saying that he was at a decent level, which will be a level above myself. But even so, compared to the mainstream YouTubers I would see, he wasn't exactly as advanced or developed in his ability to present ideas in a coherent fashion. He wasn't as accurately articulate. He couldn't put too many ideas into one sentence so that it would kind of headline the next few minutes of what he's saying. Like usually a YouTuber's structural format is they say this very big defining sentence which catches the viewer's attention, and then they start talking about it for a few minutes. Whereas he was kind of more of a he was a bit more closer to my level, in the sense that he was kind of picking up ideas as he went along the video, and he had a script as well, which he kind of needed, and it almost came off like rambling, if I'm being honest. It's not like, I'm no different to that. Like, I ramble as well. I'm probably going to be rambling in just a couple of minutes in this video, but it did give me some insight into what I might look like on YouTube, because if I'm not even at his level, then, and I'm not saying again he's at a low level, but I'm just saying that he wasn't as like articulate as the super mainstream YouTubers who have done this for like 200-300 hours. He's just kind of more he's halfway there between civilian and professional YouTuber. Like he had like 25 years of working in this industry that I'm niching down into, and I thought he was pretty coherent. It's kind of what you'd expect from an experienced professional of his age, though. But someone who'd be doing YouTube who you like thousands of people would probably watch, would probably have a bit more articulative skills than he does. The reason I got down this rabbit hole of thinking, and it wasn't that much of a rabbit hole because I'm kind of making a whole video on one simple realization, but the reason I got down this rabbit hole in the first place was because I couldn't cold call today, which means I couldn't go through the agonizing pain that usually clouds up my mind during the week. It's necessary pain, I'm not going to deny that. It's absolutely 100% essential, but I wasn't able to go through it today, which means I had a clearer mind. And because of that, the reason that was opposite of because was due to the fact that two events happened that were coinciding somehow at the same time. So simultaneously, I have had my credit card disabled because somebody hacked into my Facebook ads account, and that ended up causing a whole host of problems for me. They got into my Steam account, they got into my Instagram, they got into something else as well. Instagram anyway. They got into my Gmail as well eventually, which would have been a huge disaster if they'd done anything actual, but Google caught it anyway, and they made me change my password, which I'm grateful for. I should have changed it before anyway. Fault on my shoulders, and there I am, I'm rambling again, like I'm talking about this thing that's for too long, and I should be staying more onto the topic. The topic was the reason you should look at people at your own level when you're YouTubering or doing any other experience, and here I am talking about the fact I was hacked. But that was one of the two causes of my credit card, of my me being unable to pay for more phone call credit. The other reason was because my phone call credit incidentally expired today, and the notifications were a few days coming. I saw them taken down, and I realised, yeah, I'll probably have to buy more credit today, and I was ready to do that as well. So basically I went into the Vodafone website, and the CVV on my card didn't work because my card was disabled, because they're shipping a new one out to me in a couple of days, and because of that I wasn't able to buy credit, and because I wasn't able to buy credit I wasn't able to make any cold calls. it's just unlucky that those two events like had to converge on the same point, because if one of them, let's say the credit thing happened about 15 days ago and the card thing happened just today, it would have been fine, or vice versa, it would have been okay. But because they converge on the two, it's just because, yeah, it's just kind of an unlucky twin occurrence. It means that I didn't have to go through as much pain today, which is temporary alleviation, but again, it's just my future self suffering all the more, and that's really what I don't want at the end of the day. But I did something instead. I sent about 100 emails almost. It was kind of torturous in its own right, but it wasn't nearly as horrible as cold calling. Like not even scratching the surface, man. Like nothing compared to it. But it still wasn't fun, and I don't know if I'm gonna get any responses either. But went off on a tangent there. So that's the reason I'm not getting thousands of views on these videos. It's because I can't articulate myself that well, and it's something you should realize as well. If you're not getting the results you want, you should look at someone else who also isn't getting the results you want. And like this guy, he's far ahead of me on his YouTube, don't get me wrong. He had about a couple hundred views on each video. I have an average of 0.08, I'd say, on each video. I might get 1 view per 12 or 13 videos, and that'd be the end of it. But this guy getting a couple of hundred more, so he's pretty much 1,000 times more successful than me, which now that I say it is quite horrifying. But he did have some theoretical research and value to share, and his videos stood the test of time. They were made 4 years ago, and he hasn't uploaded anything since. Plus, he's had 25 years experience in the industry, pretty confident, charismatic. I just don't bring that much energy to my videos. And again, I'm not saying this to criticize myself, I'm just saying it from an objective level. I don't have much charisma, I don't have much, what's it called? Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, or endorphins. Don't have any of those really. So I'm kind of just relying on my own conscious willpower dragging me through every moment, and enough of my mental energy is used up throughout the day on just getting myself up to work. I remember when I was in school, and I would just be, I'd be woken up by the alarm. It'd just ring beside me at 5 in the morning, and it would just take an almighty effort just to get up and go throughout my day. Like just that first getting up, it was horrendous. I hated every second of it, and I never enjoyed it at all. Funnily enough, when I started waking up again at 5 this year, I kind of enjoyed it because it just felt better generally. I feel like 5 a.m. wake ups suit my circadian rhythm a lot more, as opposed to waking up at 7 or later on. Now these days I'm waking up at about 8 or 9, and I don't like it at all. It feels much worse, feels kind of horrible in comparison. It just doesn't suit me. I feel I genuinely have what normal people have, like maybe not much oxytocin, maybe a little bit, but dopamine, a little bit of dopamine, a good bit of dopamine compared to what I usually have, serotonin, and endorphins even as well. I'd have those 3 pretty good, oxytocin a bit more. With those 3, it was brilliant, and it's crazy. Now me just forcing myself to articulate my life situation on video has caused me to have this media breakthrough, and I didn't even think I had it before. I didn't know that fully consciously in my mind that my work was the reason I'm kind of suffering at the moment, because my work, it's useful. Don't get me wrong, it's pretty useful. I'm able to start work at, let's say, 4 p.m, 3 p.m, and I finish off work at 11 or 12, which causes me to have to wake up at about half 8 to 9, because there's about half an hour drive back home as well. So usually I could end up not being able to get to sleep until 1 or 2 in the morning, and it's just this standard thing that makes life a bit harder, because before I was going to work, I was waking up at 5 in the morning, and it was great. Like my life was actually okay. It was just very silent in the morning. There'd be nobody talking, nobody interrupting me. Now I know you can't make cold calls that early in the morning. Maybe you could if. No, I just couldn't because I'm too far ahead in terms of my time zone. But I could get that first bout of work done, and I could get my workouts done, and it would just be better. Now I'm waking up at, when is it? It's about, jeez, when am I waking up? It's a good question. I'm kind of bordering around that 8:15 mark, give or take. I usually don't actually bother getting up until about 8:30 because I kind of half hope that I can just go back to sleep and pretend reality doesn't exist for another while. Sounds quite shocking when I say it like that, but I do kind of just want to. It just always feels like I'm extremely tired when I wake up, and then when I actually get up, I don't feel too bad. Then I feel okay. It's just that initial part of waking up is it takes willpower to get through. I've never really been a morning person except for when these days. I think that when you get to your really late teens, like not 17 or 18, but 19, and then onwards after that, maybe early 20s, you benefit from waking up really early in the morning. But if you don't function like that, if you're like a teenager, you shouldn't be. It's not the way you should be functioning. Which is why you shouldn't be. If someone is in a completely different stage of life to you. Well, I was watching Hamza last year. Completely different stage of life to me. He's about 6 or 7 years older than me. He was running a speed business. He was going to the gym every day, whereas I was a teenager who went to school and played video games still. Not really a big sinful thing to play video games. Sometimes you need a distraction if life is just too horrific. But you get what I mean. Like two completely different circumstances. There is a dichotomy there, and therefore, what works for one person, what worked for Hamza, did not work for me. Waking up at 5 in the morning. Now, it's not Hamza's fault that I did that. In fact, before I even knew he existed, I was going through that routine because I didn't want to study in the evening. It would just be too much studying and homework. It wouldn't be too much. I just wouldn't want to do it though. That's why I think that you should look more to peers who are actually at your level, and that guy is more at my level than let's say one of those big influencer YouTubers were, because we can articulate ourselves well, but we don't have our videos planned out. We don't have fancy edits in our recordings. We don't pick and choose the best scene that we're talking in ourselves. And I know some YouTubers are just good enough to not do that at all, but we aren't really seasoned enough. We haven't made thousands of videos. Now I've made a couple hundred, but it's in the last few months. And again, there is that low DOSE, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. That's it. And so like I'm not really as good as I could be in just thinking of things on the fly. I mean, even now I'm having a hard time actually structuring my sentences and even being able to talk properly, because it's just a kind of, I don't know, serotonin deficiency or something. Anyway, I'm gonna keep struggling through it. It's not that bad at the moment. It's gonna be pretty bad tomorrow though, and I'm on like my 17th cold call. It's not fun. The thing is though, when I'm going through that much pain during the day, at night I feel way better. There's a contrast. Whereas if you're comfortable during the day, you're going to be less than comfortable during night, because you're going to feel like you're a coward, which you kind of are. But I don't feel like a coward because I still went through pretty intense pain of like just monotonously going through all those emails, like probably since 70 or 80 today. This video is going to be going out too long, but I wish you well. If you want, feel free to contact me on my channel. I am no longer offering web development services. I'm offering client acquisition services, and I bear that title with pride, though I don't feel as though I've earned it yet.